Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punaktu Sahaviryam Karva Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May He protect us both, the teacher and knowledge. May He protect us both by vouchsafing the result. May we not quarrel with each other. Om, peace. Peace, peace. Good evening, and it's been, I think, almost 2 years. We're going to restart this Upanishad. I remember we had come down to one particular aspect, an important aspect in the Upanishad and in life itself, that you come across choices. Everybody wants choices. And we know the choices we make either make us or break us. So here also, the god of death, Yama, he says, these two things come together, the pleasurable and that which will take us to the highest goal. So he says the preferable and the pleasurable both come. When I was first reading, I said, very strange way of translating these two very important words in Sanskrit called Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas is something that will lead us to the highest goal, to the highest reality. And prayers is that which will deflect us from that highest reality. So the translator, Swami Gambhirananda ji, has translated as the preferable and the pleasurable approach a person. A person of intelligence, having considered them, separates the two. The intelligent one selects the electable in preference to the delectable. The unintelligent one selects the delectable for the sake of growth and protection of the body, etc. So we are on the second verse of the second section, Chapter 1. So 1, 2, 2. That's the idea. So here we have, people say you come across a fork in the road and then what? Which you take? No, actually, there's no fork in the road here. They're both so perfectly blended, perfectly mixed. You take one for the other. And that's what we have been doing. Taking the good for the bad and the bad for the good. We don't really have an insight into the particular aspect that is presenting itself to us. And so we are either mistaken, misled, of course. So here, Yama, the god of death, says, both come and both are indistinguishable. one has to use one's intelligence to separate the two. Because the world is like this. Beauty, oh my God, beauty presents itself to us as something else. And something ugly, something bad, and presents itself to us as something, oh, beautiful. So once you rip away the mask, you go inside and see the heart of things. This is what gives your decision or the idea of your personality a kind of solidity. You're not going to be fickle, you're not going to run after ephemeral things. That's the reason why the qualification, the intelligent ones. The Sanskrit word used is dhira. Dhira is translated as intelligence, but it is a form of higher intelligence. Dhir. Dhi is the word used is actually for intelligence called buddhi, like Buddha. But dhi is higher intelligence. So when you pray to the Lord through the Gayatri mantra, what you're praying for is intelligence. You don't pray for this and that. Oh God, I've got a headache. Oh Lord, I want you can say Mercedes-Benz. Lord, I want it. No, that's kind of unintelligent, you can say, praise. So when you pray for the solid things and intelligently. So you pray for, actually you're praying for intelligence. So the person who owns or possesses the intelligence called a dhira. So the preferable and the pleasurable approach, man, this a person, yeah. The man of intelligence, having considered them, so you got to consider them, discern them, separates the two. The intelligent one selects the electable in preference to the delectable. The non-intelligent one selects the delectable for the sake of the growth and protection of the body. This is how this chapter begins. The first one, of course, we've seen, that is speaking about these two things. They have both these that present to us, they have different courses. They have, one takes you to the highest, one takes you to worldly bondage. We've seen how this Upanishad is slowly laying down the central theme of this book, and that is what is or what happens after death. And the question that Nachiketa the boy asks is, there is this doubt. Some people think that a person exists after he dies, and there are the others who say that nothing exists. So what are your thoughts about this? And we've seen how the god of death is trying to dissuade this young boy and trying to tempt him, rather, from asking these serious questions. He's saying these questions are even difficult for even the gods to answer. So it's exactly because they're difficult to answer and because you're the god of death, you know the inner secrets, I want to know that. He's saying, no, you don't bother. You have this long life, you have money and you have wealth and you have enjoyment, superior enjoyments. I say, I don't. So it shows how a person who's hell-bent on getting knowledge will not be diverted from this goal. It shows that basically this steadfastness in knowledge, and this has been praised by the scripture. You have a knowledge, yeah, I have so and so knowledge, but are you steadfast in that? Are you molding your life in your thoughts, in your words, around that? That's called steadfastness in knowledge. And we see this displayed in this young boy. And so Yama kind of gives in to Nachiketa's, you can say, pressing questions, saying, I want this and nothing else. And you also, we have also seen how Yama is impressed with his intelligence, with his memory, and with his steadfastness to truth also. So he has given him extra boons. He was sent to the heavens of the fathers for one reason. His father here was annoyed because he tried to ask an impertinent question. And what's that boy is impertinent? After a long sacrifice, which is an old prescribed Vedic sacrifice, everything one possesses has to be given away. And the boy saw that his father was not sincere. He was giving away things that were useless, decrepit, old cows, etc. So the boy goes to his father and says, even I belong to you. So whom are you going to offer me to? And the boy was dismissed a couple of times. And then third time he asked it, I'll give you to death, go to death. And the boy says, my God, what will death do with me? Of course, I'm not completely useless. I've got some intelligence, I've got, he enumerates his own qualities, the Upanishad enumerates. So but anyway, he comes and then for 3 days, he's waiting at the door of death because death is absent. You know, death is always busy, moving around, trying to get its customers. So, and the boy does not enter this house because obviously the man of the house is absent. And the wives of Yama are kind of agitated. This boy is sitting out there, hungry, thirsty, and he's not going to enter here without a master. So when the master comes in and he's saying, please, sorry, I was held up with some work. I'll give you 3 boons for 3 nights that you stayed outdoors. And then he asked the first and second and the third. The third boon was this, the secret of death. What is death? And then the Upanishad takes over. But that was a kind of an, again, the story. He's teaching us through the story. A beautiful story. So now, in this second chapter, we are fine-tuning our own search. Don't be distracted by hundreds of things. If you are going to zero in on something, zero it on that. So that's the reason why he's eliminating. We have to eliminate in our minds everything that will take us away from God. Because everything that takes us away from God is nothing but bondage, chains. So we are going to heap chains after chains. So, intelligence. And what is it? There's something called intelligence here. But we are so intelligent. Yeah, Sri Ramakrishna also says, yeah, the crow also thinks it's very intelligent. But it eats all that dirt and garbage, So that worldly wisdom is not spoken about here. That which wants to seek the truth is always a spiritual intelligence. Yeah. There's something called spiritual intelligence also nowadays. Yeah. This which separates the two. Because we need this, we need to separate the eternal from the non-eternal. And where is that eternal and non-eternal? It's in our bodies and minds. It's that consciousness that has to be separated from its reflection in the body and mind. we are running after the reflections. We are thinking consciousness is in the mind and the brain, and it's taking us for a ride. For the last, they are saying there are two problems in study of consciousness, the soft and the hard. Actually, there are innumerable ones. So they are using just ordinary intelligence to understand this hard and soft problem of consciousness. This soft problem is, okay, we know this is the hardware, but yeah, the hard problem, how it operates, obviously. When you come down to the rishis, they never had any soft problem or hard problem of consciousness because they could separate the two clearly and reject the other ones, that which is kind of dispensable, and took on the search for consciousness through consciousness, which later we will find. You are trying to search consciousness through consciousness, not through your brain or through your mind or through your biases. This is what is. We need that intelligence to separate the consciousness from it. Yeah. And then, as we work in this world, we need to discern what is really spiritual and what is not spiritual in our lives. So reject that, keep the ones that will lead you to spirituality. So these two words, Shreyas and Preyas. I'll read the Sanskrit, which is it's a beautiful, you can say, verse. Shreyasya preyasya manushyamet tau samparitya vivinakti dhira Shreyo hi dhiro vipreyaso vrinite preyo mando yogakshemad vrinite. Another word which is important in spiritual literature, the word used is it first appears here, yogakshema, that which one acquires and at the same time retains for one's own growth and one's own satisfaction, protection. The yogakshema. So people are, running around and trying to acquire things and accumulate things. We become like pack rats, kind of accumulate things and then we forget about things, what we've got around. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Yogakshema, the Lord says, I'm Yogakshema, you don't have to worry about it. For the devotees, you don't have to bother about acquiring things and trying to save things for the rainy day. I'm going to do that. You put your mind on spiritual things. This exactly is what is being spoken about here, in a way, indirectly. That a person tries to take on the very duties, as I say, of God or nature. When one is born, one comes with the, you can say, guarantee that one is going to live to a certain age. It's called Jati Ayu Bhova. Your lifespan is more or less fixed. You can increase it by a good, proper vegan diet or whatever, intermittent fasting, whatever you like to do. But you're not going to stretch it too long. It's more or less that. So, and nature will see that you sustain yourself through all these years till your karma gets over. So you don't have to bother about that. Things are going to come to you according to your karma. And even if it comes to you where you really don't deserve it, like Swami Vivekananda says, it's like a fool who purchases all the books and keeps them in a library, but he will read or she will read only those which are determined by one's own aptitude and intelligence and, you can say, karma. The other rest will be just left down there. And we get so impressed with people with the huge libraries. Wow. Ask them if they read everything. So all the things in life that are required for you are kind of, as I say, ordained. You don't have to think about that. So what do? Depend on God. He will look after, or she will look after your needs, and you keep on focusing yourself on the reality. So he's saying, yoga kshema, don't bother about that. You be intelligent. You separate the two things which present itself to you. And you see, both those things are indistinguishable at times. Take the thing Shreyas, that will take us to the highest goal, and then we will see that we become free from all these things. The next verse is, the verses numbered 1, 2, 3. O Nachiketa, you, such as you are, have discarded, after consideration, all the desirable things that are themselves delightful or are the producers of delight. You have not accepted this path of wealth in which many a man comes to grief. Here it is. So even the god of death, he is praising this boy, saying, yeah, you've done the right thing. And exactly, and when you have the god of death praising you, then you can feel a little proud. Oh, Nachiketa is saying, you, such as you are, have discarded after consideration. This boy has, it was not just a kind of a knee-jerk reaction, not a kind of ignorance of a child. No, I want that sweet, I want that sweet only. It's not like that. The boy has considered what is permanent, what is impermanent. So he has considered all the desirable things that are themselves delightful or the producers of delight. As I said, he was tempted with a long life, sons and grandchildren, etc., who will be long-lived. The God promised him to make him a king on this earth, and also all the wealth, and if he is not satisfied with these things, he'll make him fit for enjoying celestial enjoyments. And the boy has rejected all of them. This is what Yama has praised. Because to get the highest knowledge, one has to exhibit the highest renunciation. And who's responsible? Yeah, it's your highest responsibility. So what does it do to you? Oh, the world is a better place because of such people. You don't have, the world is nice and good and beautiful when you have ugly, aggressive, lying, cheating people. Okay? When you have really good people around, this world becomes good. Even poverty and ill health becomes kind of good. Why? Because it's good. The people run after the temporary, the fleeting, and they say. So here, Yama says, the god of death says, you have not accepted this path of wealth in which many a person comes to grief. Yeah. So, everybody wants money. This is what. So you're getting into grief. But then, is wealth bad? Well, if it is meant for the service of God and the devotees and the world, it's good. You hoard more and more wealth so that you can spend more and more wealth in loving service. It's the idea of, you can say, selfishness, that this belongs to me. Wealth does not belong to you. There's a Sanskrit saying, the goddess of wealth comes, dances before you and leaves. She doesn't stay out there. You try to hold her, it's just not possible. So Lakshmi, this is the goddess of wealth, she will come and go. Wealth does not belong to you. But we think that wealth belongs to us. So this is the kind of an illusion. And we see today the goddess of wealth goes to this person, that person becomes rich, and then she leaves and goes somewhere else to a pauper's place, and the pauper becomes rich, and there the rich person becomes a pauper. So everything, we've got to leave everything here when we depart. So wealth does not belong to you or to anyone. So he's saying, you have not accepted this path of wealth in which many a person comes to grief. So, why? Saying, Holy Mother says, the sound of money makes even the heads of Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara go round and round. Yeah, and these are the world gods. So the sound of money. So you see, Sri Ramakrishna also gives another example. A frog once found a small coin, an old rupee coin, and then he got so proud, and an elephant was walking past, and he was walking over the frog's, you can say, house, or it's in burrow. And the frog came out and tried to kick the elephant. You fellow, you don't realize whose, you can burrow you are walking over, you're trampling it. I've got one coin, 1 rupee. So it makes one lose all sense of, you can say, proportion, all sense of, you can say, ideas of, you can say, distinction. So you imagine the frog going to kick an elephant. But he was trying to do it because he had money. So this is what happens. So when you have money, you think the whole world is at your feet. And that is your mistake. So this is Nachiketa being praised by by the Yama itself. Satvam priyan priyarupansha kaman abedhyayan nachiketotyasrakshi naitam shrinkam vittamaim avapto yasyam ajjanti bahavo manusya. The word actually is which many people sink in, majjanti, in this current. So the word uses in which many persons sink inside. It's like the quicksand, the proverbial quicksand. So you're sunk deeper and deeper and deeper into it. So here he says that you have seen both of these things. You have discarded, after consideration, due consideration, all the desirable things which are delightful by themselves. There are certain things that are delightful by their very nature. Like sugar, you eat sugar, it's very the intrinsic nature is sweetness. And it has made us sugar junkies. The moment you show withdrawal symptoms, then you want another kick, and then you take a little sugar inside, and sugar is everywhere. So intrinsically, sugar is kind of delightful, but you know what it leads to. But there are some things that they are intrinsically not sweet or not desirable or delectable, but they help produce that delight. Okay, So he is classing both of these things together, the direct causes and also the indirect causes. Both these things he's saying, and you have discarded both of them, and here you are. Okay. We have these two things, as they say, these courses. When do they present themselves? At a certain stage of life or certain times? No, they do it all the time. Everything that comes to you comes blended together with this, the highest, that will lead you to the highest good or to the world. So every time you interact with the world comes and presents itself to you in this thing. You take one or take the other. And then after a while, once you've discarded those desirable things that will lead you astray, and you've started, then what happens is, then nature itself will kind of retract, will withdraw. Oh, this person is not going to be deluded anymore. Why? Oh no, the guy has got a higher, you can say, calling. And this higher calling, as we know it, has to come in the person's life. That life should not be just on the gross level. There has to be a kind of a transcendental, you can say, dimension opening up about your own life. If that is not there, then what happens is, there's hardly any difference between us and the rest of the world. Everything else is tied down on the gross level. Our thinking and our feeling. And that's why we have so many problems in this world, in our lives. Once that higher dimension of life, that transcendent dimension opens up to you, that is your calling now, to unravel it fully. And as you unravel it fully, this is what happens. You give up things, give. Sri Ramakrishna says, as you go towards the west, the east falls off by itself. You don't need to separately give up the east. Just go towards the west. As you go towards the higher calling, towards the higher goal, all these things just fall away. And how do you know that? Sri Ramakrishna also gives a nice example. In India, we have these tall palm trees, and you know that there were these old leaves were there, and they have fallen off by the marks. We have palm trees all over California. You know all the old leaves. Sometimes you see a palm tree with all dead leaves, old, still hanging about. Cut it out. So certain things which you had and which was discarded in a natural way will leave its mark on you, and it's not going to hurt you, harm you. People, you will know exactly that this renunciation has been spontaneous, has been natural. There has been no violence. People, they want to have a little high renunciation. I don't want this and I don't want that and this. No, don't go about making a display of your renunciation and show that, oh my God, such a big renunciant he is. No. It has to become natural and spontaneous. And when renunciation is renunciation is for everybody. If our lives are not centered on renunciation is nothing but sacrifice. And sacrifice is nothing but a deep love. So if you don't have that love, you won't sacrifice for it. And as this renunciation becomes natural, spontaneous, you flow. You really grow. Otherwise, Swamiji also says, when a person becomes old, He sits in the corner, talks nonsense, and throws cold water on the enthusiasm of others. A person becomes bitter. A person was nice and bright and loving, and at the end of life becomes bitter. Why? Because that person's renunciation or sacrifice has not been spontaneous. Things were actually pulled out from his or her hand, or that person had to unwillingly give up things. Never did it intelligently. Never did it, you can say, as a consequence of one's search for the higher truth, for the goal. So as a result, we have this idea that renunciation, oh my God. You see, in India we see all these, so many monks full of renunciation, and they become so bitter, my God. Renunciation, all these things should make you sweet. What's wrong? What happened to you? So this is what we need to say. As we move towards God, step by step by step, what happens is, all the things that we need to discard are discarded by themselves. They leave you. There is another lotus leaf, they say, that example, that a lotus leaf grows in water, but water does not touch it. So one lives in the midst of everything, yet one is untouched by the worldliness. One has to live in the world, of course. We also have to live in the world, of course. We don't have a convents and monasteries on a mountaintop, Okay, and then what do? Eat air. We don't want to such monasteries, and we want all monasteries and convents and everything to be dynamic, to be a part of a society, a social component with social responsibilities. We'll do everything within society, but without the idea that I possess this. And that is what makes today's ideal of renunciation even more appealing to all classes, not only monks and nuns, but everyone. Everyone can lead this life. This is Vedanta in action. It is very easy to be a Vedantin when you go and sit on a cave where without meeting anybody, without any kind of attachment with it, and you'll talk high Vedanta. Let's see you talking high Vedanta when you are here amongst the clashes of all the factors and forces around you. Let's see your steadfastness in knowledge. So this is what is the test also of your own inner growth. As you give up things, you keep on growing, and it's spontaneous. This is what is praised by the God of death. So the commentator also says, kind of desirable things. It's my people like, people who run after desirable things are like children, The children, that is not really children, of course, immature people. They have grown, but they really haven't grown. So after some time they grow tired of things. It's like, when you see a kind of a monkey will grab at a particular thing and after throw it out, grab on something else, constantly grabbing. And then the person gets tired. And when the person gets tired, person falls asleep. The mind has become so gross that it needs sleep now to refresh itself. It does not get refreshed through knowledge and through truth and through renunciation. So this word used, the commentator uses the word bala, children, immature. So these immature children, grown-ups, they run after the desirable things and they get caught. They sink inside us. Okay, so we'll take the fourth verse. We have time. Yeah, okay, we'll just read this and we'll leave a few moments for questions if they are, and then we'll take this up again next Saturday next month. Okay. Keep your eyes skinned for the announcement. Yeah.
Did you say that Yama said to Nachiketa that your lifespan is already fixed, so like?
No, he never said that.
Who was sent when you were saying?
Yeah, that is mentioned in the other scriptures.
Oh.
So it's mentioned in the yoga aphorisms. So the karma fructifies as age, what you're going to experience, and also which level of creation you're going to experience. It's called jati, ayu, bhoga. So this is what. So that is meant that there. So what I was trying to impress upon you is that you don't need to look after things which nature itself is going to provide for you. Certain things that are guaranteed once you embody yourself. So you're going to breathe, you're going to breathe, and you're going to drink water, and you're going to have food. Nature will provide that for you. So I always give an example of the moment you have a desire for chocolates, nature will say, sure, I'll give it to you, just hang on for a while I create this universe. So nature has to create the whole universe first in order to give you that chocolate that you want. Oh yeah, you think chocolate suddenly drops from the skies? Oh no. Yeah. It has to go through a long period of evolution, that the cocoa trees and the sugar trees and this and that. So everything that we experience is a result of nature has provided the background, the very foundation for things to be experienced. So you don't have to put your mind there and say, oh no, I have to strive for this. No, you strive for truth, strive to understand reality, not for this. That's what I meant to say. Certain things, like, you are sitting here and you are thinking, we are talking here, are you then saying you're not conscious that you're breathing? It has become natural. You don't have to think. Certain things have become automatic. So the moment it does not become automatic, then you know you've got to rush to the hospital. It has not become, your breathing has not become natural. Then the problem comes. So when you're hungry, you think, oh, I have to eat. No, the body itself responding. It's leading you to the kitchen. You think you are doing all the thinking. No, it's not like that. When you're thirsty, your body, your nervous system itself is leading you towards water. If you are feeling cold, it will lead you towards warm clothes. There are many things we think we are doing that nature itself, the body itself is intelligent enough to do all these things. If you're going to think all those things, then your conscious mind will be saddled by hundreds of non-essential things. And in that kind of mind, it won't be possible for you to think of the higher reality. So much for that. I'll read the 4th verse. So this is also a beautiful verse. That which is known as knowledge and that which is known as ignorance are widely contradictory, and they follow divergent courses. I consider Nachiketa to be an aspirant for knowledge, because the enjoyable things, multifarious though they be, did not tempt you. So this is the path, the course of knowledge, and the result of knowledge is different, and the course and result of ignorance is different. It's as simple as that. So they have divergent, that's why you're saying that which is, they're widely contradictory, knowledge and it. So one leads to immortality, one leads to death over and over and over again. So this is the verse that we will be taking up next month. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. So we don't have any more questions. Okay. Do we have? Yeah. No. So it's good to be back once again. Yeah. Like, yeah. This pandemic has really thrown, as I say, things into disarray. But it's always good. So tomorrow we're going to speak on Samadhi, conquest of life and death. It's going to be difficult, but no, actually it's not difficult. I mean, not the very stage, the explanation is easy. Okay? Yeah, well, we'll get there. Either today or tomorrow, don't worry. Om, peace, peace, peace.